What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Truth Life Podcast. Back with episode 86. And tonight we got a very special guest. He's very kind to give us his time. You know what I'm saying? I actually been wanting to do this, but I was shy to hit him up. I can't lie.
Come on, man.
I know guys be busy, man, so I'll be trying to give guys space. But tonight we blessed with Dustin Sleva. I pronounced it right? I don't mess
Sleva, right? Nah, you good. You good. Yeah.
Dustin Sleva. Just a quick little background on how I met Dustin. It was just straight hooping, just playing against him. He played for Paris, and I noticed he was a younger guy I could have seen the work that he was putting in. And I like the humbleness. I like the way he approached the game. And I was like, he looked like a guy that could be part of the Truth Pack. So, I always like to reach out to guys like that and keep that portal open if they need any type of communication through me, because I always like to help, man. But once again, bro, appreciate it. If you can, give a little intro to the people, let them know who you is, know where you come from, things like that.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. But like you said, Dustin Sleva, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Not a lot of hoopers out of Pittsburgh, so that's a little rare. And I basically was, kind of like you growing up. I was a late bloomer. High school, 6'4", 6'5", not athletic at all, not very strong. I was very underdeveloped. Made it. I had one full scholarship offer, and that was the Shippensburg University. Went there, had a good career, and I was lucky enough to end up in Paris my first year in Pro B, where I played against you how many times, and I'm still there. I helped them move up to Pro A thanks to you getting hurt. Because if people don't really understand how the league went, if you don't go down, man, I'm still in Pro B right now. So, but I always knew you as a certified bucket since I first been in the league. Everybody was like, "Oh, you gotta watch out, Tyren Johnson. You got Tyren Johnson." I'm like, "Fuck, I had Tyren Johnson coming up. I didn't even know who you were, bro. People were just talking about you." So, ever since my first year in France, we had a couple battles. Yeah. Always, you guys came out on top a lot. I remember. I thought I was getting fired before we beat you guys at home my first game. Okay. I remember we were 2-8 at the time. Yeah, we were 1-9 to start the season. Yeah, and that's when you guys I think channeled me because you thought I couldn't shoot. Because it was like I wasn't shooting the ball that well, and I hit a couple. We say channel, but you were icing me. Yeah. So I hit a couple there, and I kind of turned, my confidence up my first year. So, man, we had a couple battles in the past though, but I'm happy to be talking to you too. It's fun to talk to.
Oh man, now that was definitely a bad scouting report. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was let him shoot, but I know whatever he told us to do, I was like, Coach, this dude is killing me. Everybody, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
But it wasn't your fault though. It was because the stats that he had. Yeah. As a pro, I was shooting the ball like 22% of the time. Okay. So they probably can see my shot, my form, and everything that I'm shooting the ball like quick and with confidence. So it's like, maybe he might turn around. And that was the first game a team, decided to ice. So I remember, I'm like, oh man, they're giving me this. Okay, I better hit a couple, or not it's gonna be ugly.
After you made your mark after that too.
Yeah.
Because they always ask me, like, after every season, they always ask me, like, I guess because I'm an older guy and people know, like, okay, he's staying in Pro B for a reason. He got contract offers all over, so he kind of know the league, I guess. And I always told him it was like Dustin Sleva and Chima Monarchy. That was the two best forwards I went against. And Chima's being successful in Spain right now, and you're doing your thing in Pro A right now. But
Chima he got cut his first week in France,
Yeah.
He got a crazy story too. So
right. I got him on a couple of weeks. I got him on a couple of months ago. He had a very crazy story, bro. So so you said like coming from Pittsburgh, I've been to Pittsburgh a lot. It reminds me a little bit of Louisiana as far as exposure.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself being a pro when no one else around you? Because I'm the only pro where I'm from. So
yeah, there was one guy, Nick Novak, who played really in Europe, for a couple of times, and I don't even know when you're in high school, you don't know the levels or anything.
All right.
But he was somebody that I saw that could do it, and he went to a smaller school and stuff. But I remember, like, I just always knew I was going to be a pro in some way. Like, I always knew there was the opportunity in Europe, and I think that helped me, stick with my grind throughout high school and every time. Even when if you look at me, you're like, this kid's never going to be a pro. Like, he doesn't have the tools, he doesn't have the talent, he doesn't have this. But I always thought in my head that it was possible.
How was the shall I say? How was the family support?
It was my dad. My dad was always thought I was the best, even when, like, he was always there. My dad grew up like in the projects. Like, he was always like, man, you better think that you're the best one on the court. I don't care who's on the court. He always put it in my head that I was the best, and I always had to think like I was the best, even when I'm averaging 4 points as a junior in high school.
Right.
So I always had my dad in my ear, he was really adamant on, you're the best. It doesn't matter who's there, who's getting Division I scholarships. Like, as soon as you step on the court, it doesn't matter. Right. So I think he was a big voice in my ear that kind of gave me my confidence when I was kind of at my lowest.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. It's amazing to have that support team. So take me through, how do you go from Division II straight to Paris? Because there was going to be one of the top teams, but it was aspiring to go up quickly. And you guys went up in what, 5 years?
3 years.
Woo! So take me through that. How do you? Because this is a big problem that a lot of guys have. They don't even know how to get connections. They don't know how to get seen. They don't know how to communicate. Mm-hmm. What process did you take to go from D2 to one of the best second divisions in the world?
I think I just had a good college career. I was All-American, all that. But when you're coming from D2, you're kind of behind all the other guys that are in front of you because you're playing against guys that they think are lesser in talent. Mm-hmm. So, but I ended up getting in contact with an agent through a guy I knew just from hooping in my area. He used to coach at Duquesne. Somehow they got my profile and fitted what they needed in Paris. And I got lucky enough to get the offer. And it was like late first week of August. And when you're hitting your first time trying to go overseas, you're like texting, like, what is happening? Like, guys are getting signed. You don't know where you're going. I think he said something about Iceland or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think I was just fortunate enough that they needed my profile as a player for cheap because, they just started the club in July, a month before they offered me the position. I got offered like a month tryout period. You know how they do it for first year guys. So I had that, and I think it was just fortunate that they all kind of like fell into the right place at the right time, and I was able to be in a good place that had a good ambition in what they were trying to do.
Right. So this is another big question a lot of young guys ask me. Were you focused on getting the most money you possibly could get, or looking for the biggest opportunity?
At this time, it was the biggest opportunity. Right. From what I've been told from my friend Nick Novak, and what I've been told from my agent is, the first year is about setting yourself up for a good career in Europe. Mm-hmm. Your first, second, even third year, and I knew that. When Paris offers you, it's a little easier to take, less money, than probably normal people. But to you, it's at that time I think it was like $3,000 a month, like right. Kind of tax free. I'm not making nothing in college,
right.
And I'm in Paris, and I'm, it's a springboard.
Right.
You're not going to make 10K at the start,
Right.
That's what everybody thinks, so I tell guys that too. You got to be brutally honest with your young guys coming up too. Like, listen, man, it might not be the best place. You might get more money in, I don't know, the Middle East or something, but your career is going to be over. You're going to be looking back like, man, I spent all this money in the summer. I played 1 or 2 years. So that is really important as an overseas basketball player or pursuing overseas basketball player to know that there's more money out there. It's not, you might make more working at McDonald's, but that person at McDonald's can't double their salary in 1 year. if you keep putting in the work and continuing your grind.
Right. I'm happy you said that, man, because a lot of guys don't like to talk numbers. I like to talk numbers. I like to be very transparent so it's no surprises. Because if I had a Dustin Sleva when I was coming out, well, some of my homeboys had Dustin Sleva when it was coming out, it would have been more beneficial for them. I was fortunate into a situation where I was requested a lot. So my first check was like 150 grand. And everybody thought that was normal. I didn't even know that was normal. I said no. I'm like, I need $1 million. Because me going overseas, I'm like, okay, I was on the mock draft. I was damn near drafted. I need to get $1 million to go to Belgium. It was like, now you got 150. I'm like, I'm not going for no 150 grand. Till I talked to some guys that played overseas, and they're like, I make 30,000. This dude, he make 25,000. Another guy was making 1,500 in Japan and picking rice throughout the week. I'm like, yo. The realistic number that I said for a guy for the first year is 30 to 40K. I'm like, that's great money. You got no kids, you got no family.
Right. I got my house, my car.
And it springboard you into bigger opportunities. That's what the key word you said was springboard. Same thing I told Chima. I said, Chima, he was getting frustrated. I said, you're going to find one team that's going to take a chance on. And next year, Chima's going to get crazy paid. Same with you. You think everyone in France know who Dustin Sleva is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a springboard. Good thing you took that opportunity. Once again, I can't tell you I'm proud of you. And I mean, this is our first official real conversation, but I've kind of been your big brother behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? But guys need to hear these type of thing, man. I don't want to talk your head off, but so whenever you're training, I noticed every year for me, you've gotten better every year. It's like you see the steps. What is your training process like during the summer? Do you work out during the summer, or do you wait for the teams to you wait for preseason? Because France preseason is kind of long. So what's your process after the season?
Me personally, I have a hard time with like relaxing. Like I don't know what it is. Like even like I'm on vacation now, but I'm going to the gym. I found a gym where I could go shoot. You know what I mean? So it's I take like a week off and then I'm back at it. And plus I have 2 little brothers and we all work out together. So that makes it fun. But usually in the off season, I go in the morning with either a trainer or I try to find a gun, get on a gun, get shots up, or get a trainer, get a real work in. And I bring my brothers with me. And then we go lift. And then at night, I'm usually playing pickup or something, but kind of laid off the pickup as I get older. And start making more money. You don't want to risk it. So I'll play like one-on-one with my brother. My brother's like 6'6", like 225. He loves being in the weight room. So he'll bully. He'll try to push me a little bit, foul me, whatever. Won't get hurt playing with him. So it's good to get that in like kind of like a game type thing. And right now I'm actually working with a Serbian guy, Vlad, who's like an assistant on our team. He's a young guy, but man, like some of the workouts I do with him, like are really translating into what I do on the court. And I think like just finding those type of people that could enhance your game just a little bit, and finding something in like different types of trainers who could show you something new that you haven't done before could always be beneficial. I'm not saying I know everything. So I kind of go into, if I work with a new trainer, if I work with someone else, if they're telling me they know everything, I think it's a bad trainer. If they're not trying to learn something either from me or just curious about how I think about the game or how they think about the game, I think of them as a bad trainer. But if there's someone who's like willing to, help me learn, like see if like a player's doing something that might fit my game, I kind of see those guys as a good trainer. And I worked with my high school coach this summer, Darren Tilch, and he would do kind of similar things. And now the Serbian guy, I'm doing a lot of different things. Post action, I love going to my right hand. I'm doing a lot of different things where I'm going over my right shoulder, different types of shot with my right shoulder, not necessarily shooting with my left hand, but maybe some fadeaways, some shots, some spins, a lot of different stuff. And I see it translating into the game even after working with him for a couple months. So I think doing those different types of things helped me develop my game a lot more as I progress as a basketball player.
What about strength training? Do you do any strength training, or you just straight skills?
No, I do I have my old strength coach is actually in Pittsburgh because he coaches at Rob Morris University.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with him 3 times in the summer, and he knows I hate squatting. So we do a lot of different types of things to try to strengthen my legs.
Yeah.
I actually got hooked on like 6 months ago, the knees over toes guy.
Yeah, I'm hooked on him. I love him.
Me too. I love him. The tip bar is different.
Yeah.
I do the tip bar. I walk backwards, all different, all of his workouts I do, I'm like slowly implementing into what I do. And I feel better. Like my body feels better. So, I mean, I kind of take the strength part and the diet and the different things in that aspect is like, that's kind of like my next level, you know?
Right.
I wear a Whoop. I track all my sleeping, all my workouts, everything. Same. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I think in the beginning of the year it was like skills and strength. And now it's like, man, I'm really getting on my diet, how I lift, different types of things when you lift to, you know, progress when you get older to make sure your body's okay. So I've been, you know, my new thing is I'm like a sauna ice tub, like I switch on and off with that. And that's my thing that I think it's been helping me sleep more and stuff. So
you do the contrast, or you mean like one
contrast,
day you do sauna? Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah, I mean, my guy Noe, Charles Abua, we be talking about going to the sign try to get in.
Man, he knows everything.
That's my best, like my best friend, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So, I be talking to him. I'm like, man, I need that recipe. Man, I need this.
he's big on nutrition. I got a design company too, so I'm making his logos and his websites. So I'm like, the payment is you give me the game, and I get your brand and identity going. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So
you do everything,
bro. I always tell dude, you can't really rely just on our salary. Even though I make good money here, it's like I don't plan on working after this, bro.
So, right. And you got acquiring skill. You acquired so many skills just from putting yourself in your house and just being curious.
Yeah, bro.
You know, I think that's dope.
I always said try to find some high income skills because that way, we work 3 hours a day with the team. Normally, I take like 5 because I take like an extra hour before and an extra hour after preparation and recovery. Speaking of recovery, before I get into the next point, what do you do for recovery? Like after practices, after games, do you focus on recovery? Well, I'm for sure you pretty do.
I'm kind of obsessed with my body. I don't know why. Like it's been like over the past since COVID, I really got like obsessed with the recovery aspect, my mental aspect. So a lot of things I do is just I try to find out like what's the best for me. I'll listen to podcasts on guys like neuroscientists and guys that like study a lot of different of the new recovery tactics. And just from them, I would take. That's why I've been doing the contrast, and I have the Whoop, which tracks my sleep. And if I stay on my rhythm where I sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every morning, it's the best. I'm like a 90+ recovery. I'm feeling great. Like my body feels good. So I mean, I think staying consistent with that, because you can't really control some things overseas. You know, you have long bus rides. You're not eating the best, like on the away game. Sometimes, you know, in France, man, it's tough. But you know, you try to do it as much as you can while you're here, and then try to do as much as you can when you're, you know, at the gym or whatever. But I'm really like in tune with everything that I do.
Bro, it's crazy that you say that. I've been locked in for the last 6 months and listening to Knees Over Toes guy, listening to it's a guy on YouTube called Garage Strength. Just a bunch of guys that focus on the little muscles that we don't really work on and stuff like that.
Yes.
So they get real scientific with recovery. And the common method that I heard and that worked for me, bro, is a consistent sleep routine. It's all the foam rolling, cold tubbing, stretching.
Sleep is the best.
Sleep is the best form of recovery. It's the most underrated thing. And that's when you think about players, what's the one thing that what's the one thing that they struggle with? Sleeping.
Sleep. Especially if you're from the States, you know, and your family's back home, you're up till 2 or 3 a.m.
Sleeping, you know? And posture.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. So guys ask me like, no, bro, you've been doing it for a while. What's the secret? I'm like, bro, I eat fairly well. I do a lot of meditation, a lot of sleeping, and a lot of I be focused, bro. Like I just keep
Yeah.
I try to keep my days fun. Like every day gotta be
Right.
lit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And
So
that's not even going out to eat. That's just
in the
finding like
house.
you do the beat. Yeah. You do it like me. For me right now, it's like learning French and, doing different things like around my house that, I could learn something new that I can implement into my, routine.
Yes, the success is progression, bro. I tell people all the time, when you get better at French, like, bro, when you told me that you put that in your morning routine, I'm like, you know what? This is very important. I'm putting French in my morning routine because I would put it at the middle of the day and I'll
It's
skip it.
over.
I'll skip it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But I'm like, you know what? As soon as I wake up, I'm getting on my French classes. I'm getting way better, way better. C'est mieux. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
nah, man. Quick question about get back to basketball for a second. Tell me what's been the difference, like in experience from Pro B to being in Pro A.
I would say there's a couple. I feel like guys underestimate the level of Pro B when we were in it because it's fairly high, especially the way guys play because there's a lot of athleticism and you'll have a couple guys that could really hoop. Pro A, you got probably 7 guys that could go get a bucket. It might not be as physical, but you got guys that are bigger, stronger. It's just kind of like a step up, but you also got to deal with like, you might not get as many touches as you did in Pro B. You know, I was the highest leading scorer on the team last year. This year, I'm second or third on some nights. So that transition was a little bit tougher. You gotta be more consistent in how you get buckets. You gotta make sure what you're doing is, you're not getting 14, 15 shots consistently.
Right.
So I think that was the big difference, especially playing on the same team, with the same coach and everybody. But transitioning to that, I would say my first 2 months was probably the hardest because I'm pretty good. Like I like to play with my team and pass in, but sometimes I got to be aggressive for us to be well. And I think I was a little more passive at the beginning, and when I started to get things rolling, I started to be a little bit more aggressive. So I think that was the biggest difference for me. And mentally, it was at the beginning. You get these thoughts that creep into your head, like, oh, dudes are saying like, because I struggled a little bit at the beginning. Dudes are saying probably, he might not be able to play this level, this, and that. You get those little thoughts in your head, but I always know the work is what's going to make me good. And I'm confident enough in my game that I could play anywhere. So I think that was the difference, between this year and last year, and just trying to stay consistent and roll out the waves, make sure I'm here and not up and down on most nights, make sure I'm consistent on defense. I'm consistently playing with competitiveness, highest energy, trying to get a couple offense rebounds, doing anything for us to win a game. That was my main thing. And then the offense is going to come around, if you put in the work. So,
So at the end of the day, we're talking about springboards. Me personally, I think
mhm.
you set yourself up in a position to really springboard. What's the ultimate goal now? Like, what's the legacy? I don't want to say legacy. What's the next step? I'll say that. What's the next step you're trying to achieve from
Me,
basketball?
right. I just want to play the highest level. And I will never say I want to play, you know, I will never limit myself to where I can play because I feel like I could play everywhere. My dad been telling me since I was young I could play everywhere since I couldn't even touch net.
Great answer.
So I don't want to limit myself to anything. If it's going back to the States, if it's playing EuroLeague, whatever. I just want to play at the highest level, and if I get the opportunity to do it, that would be the greatest blessing. So,
I love it,
man,
bro.
I'm just striving to be the best.
I got you.
Yeah.
So off the court a little bit. Let's talk like this whole podcast is about really helping. It's like a self-development podcast. And one of the things we talk about freedom. You don't have to get too personal, but how do you handle your finances being, you got a girl, right? Y'all married or just y'all
No,
date?
we're dating right now. Yeah, we're together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a girl, I don't think got kids. I'm saying
No.
it's a lot of pressure coming from a black family. It's a lot of pressure because I'm the only one really making money in my family. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I need to know that perspective coming from Pittsburgh with a confident daddy wasn't no daddy on his side. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
who taught, like, so did someone teach you about financial literacy? Are you really paying attention to your bread, or do you need to come to a truth session with Tyren Johnson?
Nah, I could use a session. I can always learn something new, but I kind of learned from my dad because I don't think my dad's really good with money.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned what not to do,
Right.
from my dad.
Great perspective.
Because my dad's like, he's like one of those, like, he's funny, but he was terrible with money. He got 5 kids. It seemed like he always living paycheck to paycheck, and he's a principal and he has good, not to shout at my dad, but whatever. But he
Yeah.
knows, he knows, he knows how it is. But uh I mean, I had no one to really teach me, but I was always curious on how to handle my money. At first thing I learned was to put it into an ETF. Just to start it off, learn some things. Put in a couple individual stocks and stuff like that, and then eventually, like, now looking into like real estate and thinking about different ways I can handle my money. I might invest into a startup, which is a little more riskier, but there's different things that play with that. But I try to save as much of my money as possible while still enjoying my life, but being smart about it,
Right.
not being stupid. I'm not really in the clothes like that. I'll buy a couple clothes here and there. I'm not really in the, having the nicest things. I might get some gifts or something like that. But besides that, going to restaurants and stuff, I try to save my money as much as possible. Live my life the way I want to live, but not overdo it,
Right.
like how some guys might.
Yeah, I got you. So tell me this, bro. I ain't gonna keep you too much longer. We've been at about 30 minutes. Some great information, bro. Love it so far. What's a perfect day for Dustin Sleva? Let's say at 45 years old. What's a perfect day?
45.
What does that look like?
Man, I don't know what I'm going to be doing at 45, but I like to wake up early. So either wake up at like 6:30 or 7, take a walk, relax, do something that I'm learning in the morning, because currently that's my French, but I feel like my French will advance to where I don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
So whether it be something financial or business, my work, just the most important thing of the day, I'll probably do it in the morning. I intermittent fast, so I'll probably eat around 12, hang out if I have kids or whatever, play with the kids, whatever. Man, if I'm 45, that's a long way. But hopefully I got a house, whatever, it's taken care of, go work out, do the same things I've been doing.
So I guess I'm asking the question is, like, I like to make beats. I like to do photos,
Yeah.
videos. I'm into all kind of things. Outside of basketball, what is that one thing you're passionate about besides, maybe it's just French? If it's something else, let us know. But if it's just French, that's cool too.
Nah, I mean, me is like, I'm always trying to come up with something like some new type of business plan that I can implement. I did an internship for marketing while I was during COVID, because I'm like, I got too much time on my hands. I need to do something. So I did that, liked what I was doing, did a little marketing thing where I would help a couple people out. Didn't stick with it as long as I think I should, because I was a little worried about French and stuff. But so I think that what I'm doing right now is probably my French is my first thing, and then whatever comes out of that is like how you were, like you had your French later in the day.
Yeah.
Like I would push it to later in the day, and sometimes I would do it, and sometimes I wouldn't.
Yeah, man.
Like I'm trying to write an ebook right now that's been going on for like 6 months. Like, about the process is just me learning French. Like that was it. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try some. I'm like done with it, but I'm not done with it. Like I don't like how it is right now, so I'm kind of like, I push it aside and I do it on some days. Same as you. But you got 10 things going on. But I mean, I always my favorite thing to do is learn something new, learn something I'm passionate about. I've been learning about crypto and stuff like that a lot, because I see a lot of jobs open up in that field. I just want to learn as much as possible, in case anything goes crazy with that, because we have time as basketball players. We have time to do all these things, and I try to stay away from watching like Netflix or watching, like, just sitting there and like binge watching series, even though I'll get addicted here and there. But I could waste a lot of time doing that, and I try to keep myself off social media as much as possible. I try to limit to an hour a day. So anything where I'm learning something new and I'm advancing, myself I think is a perfect day.
I tell dudes every time, I always say I'm rich. They're like, bro, why you always say you're rich? I'm like, bro, because I get to learn something new every day. Like, that's the
Right.
best feeling on earth. Like, I just scored 30 tonight. You kidding me? Tell me what Rolls Royce can match that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the
So
feeling.
it's the feeling that you just can't replace it. I like to ask these questions, man, because a lot of times we make a lot of our money in the beginning of our lives. So like from 20 to 35.
Right.
Whereas the ordinary person that's not an athlete makes the majority of their money when they're 45, 55, stuff like that. So I just want guys to be prepared to let them understand that. First thing you said was ETFs. She's learning about crypto. He's looking into startups. He's looking into real estate. You know what I'm saying? That's the conversations you got to have with these guys instead of having conversations about Jordan, Kobe, Pippen, and
Right.
Kim Kardashian and what
Right.
Kanye West got going on. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to change the mindset because the numbers are ridiculous of athletes going broke after they retire. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. It's based off ignorance. And if they know better, I
Right.
think they'll do better. So need guys like you to spread the story and stuff like that. Last question, man. Like I said, this has been a very interesting podcast so far. For me, prime time? Prime time is my that guy, him and T Mac. And without them, I'm not here. who's
Really?
who's the one guy I would say let's say like Bob Proctor is my financial guy. Primetime is my athlete guy. I got Saguru, he's my mental guy. Like I got 70 mentors, bro. Tell me, do you have some mentors or someone that you can look up to, someone that you can call? You know what I'm saying? I got an old racist white guy that's my best friend. He's my biggest mentor since I was 22,
That's crazy.
So do you got any mentors? I think that's a big component of life that people don't understand. When someone's already done it, you can skip time. You can skip 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Do you got one of those guys? You got a couple of
I think I got a couple, like you said, in each field. Like I got my dad. He kind of gives me my like confidence, since I was young. In basketball, I had a coach, Darren Tosh. He was the one that kind of, the jump hook I do. He was the one that kind of brought that post game into how I do it. And then I trained with him this summer, and he's kind of like how I play in the post a little bit. He taught me how to seal all the little stuff you need in basketball that if you don't got a good coach, you will never learn it. So he was kind of my mentor in that way. Mentally, I'll listen to, I'll go crazy on David Goggins, his mentality. And then for the podcast side of it, it'd be like the Huberman Labs. Like he's another guy, he's a neuroscientist that, you might do all the meditation and stuff like that, but might not know how it affects you. And I'm the type of guy that if I have a study on it and if it shows that like it actually can work and it's not just like some crazy guy in the house doing things and he's telling you it's going to work, I'm more prone to try something new. Right. So I think a guy like listening like him and like trying new things, like he always says, wake up in the morning, get sunlight, your sleep will be better at night. It'll be improved a lot more. Don't go to bed past 11 because it inhibits like a bunch of depressive type thoughts in your head, different little things like this. And he's the one that put me on the ice tub, and I hate ice tubs. And after I did it and the contrast therapy with him, I started to get like obsessed with it. So, I mean, little things like that are just different people that, have so whatever you're listening to, pay attention to what you're listening to because it could influence you a lot. So
I had to kick the hip hop, man. I listen to Afro beats 90% of the time.
Oh yeah.
I had to kick the hip hop, bro. I listen to my own music, to be honest. I make music for me. That's why I make beats, so I can work out to. But I said that was gonna be the last question, but now I gotta ask you, man. Because I believe in this theory. I don't think I'm crazy. I believe in waking up with the sun and shutting it down with the sun.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't know. You ever listen to his podcast, Huberman Labs?
I never heard it, man. I be on Bigger Pockets all day, bro.
Okay, yeah, but ever since I started listening to him, I've been changing like little things that I've been doing like in my life, and has been improving like my quality of sleep, how I'm feeling. I did it over COVID, and that's what really got me like in this kick of health kick. But man, he tells you when you go to sleep, don't have any lights over your head after 10 o'clock because it'll inhibit your sleep. When you're in bed, put a little pillow over your toes, like let your feet hang just a little bit. You'll fall asleep faster and easier.
You mean pull
He's
it? What you
real,
mean pull it over my toes? How?
not over your toes, under your toes, like elevate it a little bit. So
Okay.
so your blood's rushing down. And he loves doing yoga nidra, like a meditation practice in the middle of the day that kind of like gets you ready for that second practice, or after you just learn something and you're like, your brain's all messed up because you spent, an hour learning something. So now it's like, that's your recovery for your brain. Man, I've been on all types of different stuff that he's been asking, and just longevity type of things too.
What's the name of it? You got me turned up here.
I feel I hate talking to people that like not interested in it, because I'll talk about it for days. But it's Huberman Labs.
Huberman Labs.
Huberman. Huber Labs.
I put that in my notes, bro.
Yeah,
I'm all about hacking anything I can to get an edge in the game. Because now I'm treating the game, bro. I'm like, I've been studying these guys, Grant Cardone, the Gary V's, all of these financial guys, and I'm like, I stopped studying the Kobe's. I stopped studying all these little things that these guys was doing to get an edge. Tim Grover was my trainer too. That's the best investment I've made in my life. You know what I'm saying? Going through Tim, and Tim just literally instilled in me as a rookie how to get an edge. You know what I'm saying? And it stuck with me, and just hearing these things, bro, I got to hear what he's talking about, because I like scientific things. Me, I hate conspiracies. I believe in science a lot though.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody can scientifically prove me, I don't have opinions or anything. I have no expectations for nothing. I'm like, okay.
I'm the same way.
But if you tell me,
if you're just facts, talking, that's when I'm like, okay.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So hearing this, man, I'm definitely going to check him out, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me, man. Man, besides that, man, I just want to say thanks again, bro. Keep doing everything you got going. Love it. You got a fan over here. Anytime you need anything, anytime you want to hit me up, anything you want to ask me right now or off the show, don't be shy, bro.
You've been my fan since the first year. Never feel shy to get me back on the podcast or whatever. I'm serious.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dive deep. You coming back, because we're gonna get deeper into this conversation.
Man, I could talk about it for days. Like when I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed with something.
We're gonna dedicate a whole show to it, then, man. Because I'm willing. I want to learn.
All right, cool. I mean, I don't know everything, but you'll listen to the podcast, and as soon as you get it, we could discuss a couple of things that we do that we like.
Got you, man. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. Dustin Sleva blessed us again tonight, man, with some great information. You guys got to pay attention, man. This was a good one. Thanks, bro.
Yep. Thank you.